What's up, everybody? So, I was up late last night producing a music video. I think I got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, so not like a full night's rest. So I'm tired today. And I had an errand to run. I did that. I usually like to bounce around and go drink coffee and talk with the people I know. Do some writing, some research, and so there's a rotation, just like my workout. And I hadn't done any work in Denouement, my fictional memoir. So I did that, and it was a chunk of writing on Riz or Modern Game for Men, whatever you want to call it. And it was funny because when I wrote it, I said some things that I thought were a bit too on the nose, a little too cheesy. One time talking to a lady, and then there have been other times where I said something and I was worried later it might be too cheesy, but I realized it came from the soul. And sometimes I'm saying things without saying things, and that's part of it. And I sort of unpacked that in this paragraph, and then I didn't realize that the paragraph was actually like 5 years old. So I look at the temporal critique, which is me writing about my writing, and it was 2 years old. And it saw precisely the wisdom that I'm referring to there, that sometimes it's actually the seemingly foolish that is actually wise, and the seemingly wise which is actually foolish. And I think that that's like, when people talk about overreacting and doing dumb stuff, sometimes we get it backwards. I think road rage works this way. It's sensible because someone else's idiocy is now a threat to me, and I had to take evasive maneuvers and whatever, and you should know better. Why aren't you paying attention when you're operating your motorized vehicle? Past 3 or 4 months, I've had 3 or 4 encounters. I had another one today where someone almost hit me because they weren't paying attention. Today it was a person turning onto the road way too wide, and I had to slip over into the other lane, but there weren't any cars, so I just instinctively did that. And she looked sheepish and then pulled into a business awkwardly. I don't think she was actually going to that store. I think she was just like, oh shit. And I'm tired, and I processed some stuff last night and got something done, and it felt good. But I was on my way home. I was like, I halved my research today because I'm tired, and the radical honesty of what I produced last night, on the one hand it's healing, I feel lighter. On the other hand, I'm tired, and when I'm tired, things, when you don't feel good, it can magnify the mundane. That's sort of like my main shtick as a philosopher, is exploring that, and then sometimes pontificating on ideology, I guess. But I was not mad at her. And when I first dodged her, I don't even remember what I said. It was something, it was angry. It was something along the lines of like, fucking retard, or something like that. And then I breathed through my nose, and I was like, she knows what she did. And she pulled over. And I kept going. And I thanked God. I kept going, and I thanked God that I'm not the kind of person who, even when I got stuff going on over here, inappropriately drives. Because that's dangerous. And it's funny, because like in my head, I'm sort of like, keenly aware of the fact that I genuinely desire warmth and affection that I don't have, But if I'm honest, I have warmth and affection from my family and my friends. In my Riz or the game or whatever you want to call it, I'm now operating at a level which is just autonomic. Like, I don't even think about it. It's, living on the spectrum and actually having PTSD. A lot of people talk about it. and they think they have it, and you can make the argument that there's a gradation to it, but I've also met people that have crossed the threshold into what I would call legit PTSD. Side note, CPTSD is real. I have it. That's actually what I have. Some people, it's not like that. It's not nuanced. It's very simple. Me, it's highly nuanced. But I've been going through a lot lately, but I've also been sorting it. And it's as if the pain sucks, but then like I have to just make inferences about the positive. So today I rapped with the barista, and she was like digging my jokes, but then she would sort of get cold on me, and that doesn't bother me anymore, because when you see someone light up and they get cold, that means she's controlling herself. So I actually respect that, and I'm glad that she can do that. That's a good thing. That's something that a lot of people don't have. I think that's what Alan Watts meant when he said that some people can take responsibility for themselves and some people can't. I call that carrying the cross. I carry the cross. So, yeah. Today's been weird. It's like I didn't get as much done as I would have liked in terms of the studying, but I did get some writing done. And I don't know. It's like even when I succeed in the game, if you will, I'm not trying to get laid. I used to get laid a lot when I partied, but it wasn't actually game. The way I told one of my brothers the other day is that I was up here and not out there. So it was incidental, I guess, that I got laid, right? It was just, partying and so forth. And I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that for a long time. And the last people that toyed with me about relations and went on dates with me, they were all playing out of the female dating strategy handbook. And one girl, she canceled plans 4 times before I figured it out. That was like 3 or 4 years ago. 4 fucking times. And what I've discovered is that it's a basic move. And then like one chick did it, and then she immediately wanted to reschedule and picked a date. And I said, oh, I'll be busy. We'll figure something else out. So I was vague because no, I'm no longer interested. I know what you're doing. You know. And she profusely apologized. And it sucks. I don't like doing this. I don't like that. But you know what? I'm gonna be a nice guy anyways. Because it's who I am, I'm not an asshole. I'm nice and I like people and I like being kind to them. And some people mistake kindness as weakness, and it's just not. I don't even think weak people can be kind. Truly kind. Truly nice. I think that people do a damn good job. So even when I meet people that are broken, the fact that they're trying is usually pretty obvious to me. I can see it because I've been addicted. I've been suicidal. I've been down, and I can smell it. And then practice and tactics socially have allowed me to more safely operate around, like, say, vagrants and homeless people that are mentally ill. But, sadistic women who enjoy dangling and then walking away and watching you squirm, that's something else. As a man, I think that I should just accept that as a fact of nature, and it's not necessarily as personal as I'm making it. And this harkens back to what I'm talking about with inflation. So, like, if I don't feel good already, I may be making mountains out of molehills. I don't want to do that. But the same women that overplay that card always get played by the fuckboys, always get what they deserve. And they are, in my opinion, asking for it. And it's odd, and they tend to like to get choked in the sack and so forth. And I don't like any of this. Like, I'm nice, I'm very virile, I like women, and I'm very sexual, but I'm not angry at you. Even role playing in sex with those kinds of things, some people overdo it, and it's just like, no, I want to love you. I want to take care of you, and I would like you to take care of me in the way that a woman does. And I just haven't found it yet. And it's not that I couldn't get laid. Like, I'm good enough that I could get laid. I could. But you know, it's I love the word lacuna, because it's a kind of meaningful void inside my soul. And there's all sorts of things that I did in the past to try to fill that hole that won't work, that can't work. So sometimes I will I'll share those ideas with people, like, hey, this isn't going to work, or maybe what you're doing is symbolic. I'll say things like that, and then, you know, people want to know why, and I've studied a lot of Jung, and I can usually tell them. But as Jung said, he said he failed in his foremost task, and it hurts me as a man to hear or read Jung say that, because I'm like, Jung, you did great. And the reason he said he thought he failed was because he wanted to show us that mankind has a soul, that there is buried treasure in the field. And I'm like, Jung, you drew me a map. You put X on it. You said everything. And you suggested what tools to use. And I used them. And I found some stuff. Like, you can't dig the hole for me. And that's where I'm at with, like, people and their suffering. It's weird. Like, I want to heal people. I can't. I'm not Jesus. I'm not God. I'm just a man. I'm just a man. I'm just a man.